Dear friend, why is it that today, despite having access to an overwhelming amount of information every day, people seem to be losing the ability to think deeply and understand their true selves? This is not merely a question about the quantity or quality of information, but about how we use and process it. If thousands of years ago, people could spend an entire day reflecting on the meaning of a philosophy or the nature of the universe, are we even taking a few minutes today to pause and truly think about ourselves? Modern society proudly claims that we are living in the information age. With just one click, you can learn everything, from the history of humanity to the latest breaking news around the world. But let's take a deeper look. What kind of information are you consuming every day? Is it a series of short videos that you scroll through in seconds, sensational headlines, or content designed to keep you hooked on social media platforms as long as possible? Does this truly make you wiser, or does it simply fill your mind with empty calories, superficial content that lacks depth and adds no real value to your life? In this world, the way you consume information is no longer entirely your choice. Smart algorithms are designed to predict your preferences, emotions, and behaviors. You are not just receiving information, you are being guided by it. The danger here does not lie in how much or how little you know, but in the fact that you are losing control over the flow of your own thoughts. Everything you see is carefully crafted to keep your mind in a state of constant busyness. Do you still have the space to reflect, to analyze, or to ask yourself what truly matters? The truth is, people are not lost because of a lack of information. They are lost because they have forgotten how to find meaning in the information they consume. This disorientation doesn't just stem from external sources. It is deeply rooted in how we perceive life itself. What we see is not the real world, but a version carefully curated for us to see. From purposefully constructed news to the shiny images on social media, everything points us toward an idealized version of reality, but it is not the truth. So how do we escape this maze? How can we reclaim clarity in our minds amidst a world full of noise? It is not an easy task. It requires you to confront yourself, to look deeply into your mind, and to discern what is real and what is false. The first thing you need to do is pause and ask yourself, am I living my own life, or am I being swept into a reality crafted by others? Awareness begins the moment you acknowledge that you might have lost your way. Awareness is a long journey where you must learn to think independently, identify core values, and sometimes even go against the current of society. But remember, simply daring to face this question means you have already started the journey back to yourself, a place where true meaning and freedom reside. We live in a world where information is everywhere, from the small smartphone in your hand to the giant screens on the streets. Have you noticed that your mind consumes an overwhelming amount of information daily, so much that people of past centuries could not even imagine? Paradoxically, the more information we have, the more disoriented and unfocused we feel. Why is that? Start by examining how information is presented in modern society. Social media platforms, online news outlets, and media channels do not merely provide information. They are intentionally designed to capture your attention. Sensational headlines, eye-catching images, and dramatic yet brief posts don't appear by chance. They are crafted to exploit human instincts, curiosity, anxiety, and the need for social validation. As a result, instead of actively choosing information, you are pulled into a vortex of content carefully orchestrated by algorithms. This influence doesn't just end with the information you receive, it extends to how you think. When you read an article, scroll through a social media post, or watch a short video, do you stop and ask yourself, what does this mean to me? Is there value here that I need to analyze more deeply? Most of us don't. We passively consume information, letting it flow through us like a rushing river, without reflection. This passivity erodes our ability to think critically. Consider a simple example. When you scroll through social media and see someone sharing an emotional story, do you pause to question its authenticity? Or do you immediately feel empathy, outrage, or sadness, then share it without verification? This is how misinformation and illusions seep into our minds, making us believe things that may not be true and, ultimately, stripping away our ability to analyze deeply. The modern mind is not only overloaded with false information, but also fragmented by an excess of unnecessary content. Think about it. Out of the hundreds of posts, videos, and images you encounter daily, how many are truly worth your time and contemplation? Today, people don't lack information. They lack the ability to filter and analyze it. We consume information hastily, as if afraid that failing to keep up will leave us behind. But the truth is, this information overload is weighing down our minds and making them more confused. What are the consequences? First, you become easily misled by perspectives imposed by others. Without time for reflection, you are prone to accept surface-level narratives, believing that what you see is the truth. Second, you lose your ability to focus in a world designed to grab your short-term attention. How can you spend sufficient time truly diving into an issue? Finally, you lose connection with yourself. When all your time is spent skimming through external information, do you have any space left to listen to your inner voice? The problem isn't just the volume of information, it's how we consume and process it. If we don't learn to control the flow of information into our minds, we'll forever be carried along by an endless current with no destination. This is not just a reality, it's a warning. Pause and look deeply into yourself. Are you in control of your mind, or is it being manipulated by what others want you to see? Only when you begin to ask this question can you break free from the influence of the infinite world of information. Why do modern humans find it increasingly difficult to escape the ambiguity of their own minds? What is the root cause of this loss of awareness? To understand more deeply, we must examine the factors that shape how we receive, process, and respond to the world around us. It's not just a matter of the volume of information, but also its nature and how it manipulates our minds. Imagine walking into a banquet filled with visually appealing dishes, but most of them are just fast food with little nutritional value. At first, you're drawn in by the visual and sensory appeal, but soon you realize your body feels exhausted and devoid of energy. This is exactly how our minds react to the content provided by social media: quick, shallow, and superficially entertaining. Brief posts, videos just a few seconds long, and sensational statuses are all designed to grab immediate attention. But what we don't realize is that our minds are being filled with content lacking depth, leading to a genuine deficiency in mental nourishment. Psychology points out that digital platforms exploit dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with feelings of pleasure, to keep us hooked. Every time you receive a like, a comment, or a notification, your brain releases a small amount of dopamine, creating a fleeting sense of satisfaction. However, this satisfaction is not sustainable. To achieve that feeling again, you continue to scroll, continue to search. As a result, we develop a habit of depending on short-term information consumption, which diminishes our ability to think deeply and analyze critically, a trap of illusions. Imagine the world of information as a giant mirror. The problem is that this mirror doesn't reflect the truth. It only shows you the images it wants you to believe. Digital platforms are not neutral tools. They are designed to keep you engaged for as long as possible. This results in the creation of a virtual reality where you are drawn into carefully crafted images, stories, and information that stimulate your emotions, or even manipulate them. Social media content is often fine-tuned to make a strong impression, leading you to believe that these things are important or valuable. These products of sophisticated algorithms distort your perception, gradually eroding your ability to distinguish between what is real and what is merely an illusion. A severe consequence of living in a world saturated with virtual information is that people are increasingly disconnected from themselves. Ask yourself, how much time do you spend each day listening to your inner voice amidst the noise of modern society? We are so busy reacting to external events that we forget to ask ourselves what we truly want or what really matters to us. When your mind is filled with unnecessary information, there is no space left for self-reflection. You begin living by societal standards rather than searching for your own core values. This not only weakens self-awareness, but also makes you more susceptible to being swept up in the meaningless currents of society, where everything is dictated by what others want you to believe. The result is a loss of mindfulness, which not only diminishes your ability to think independently, but also causes you to lose yourself. You are not only controlled by external information, but also manipulated by the habits and perceptions you have unknowingly created. To regain mindfulness, you need to learn how to navigate these traps. Start by recognizing them and gradually rebuilding a connection with your inner self. Only then can you truly escape the maze of information and find your way back to yourself. In a world where the human mind is constantly pulled by endless streams of information, mindfulness is no longer a natural state. It has become a skill that must be cultivated. How can you find yourself amidst the overwhelming noise around you? The answer lies in establishing rules of mindfulness, where you regain control over your mind and emotions. The first step toward mindfulness is learning to ask questions whenever you encounter new information. Ask yourself, what does this person want from me with the information they are providing? This question helps you uncover the intent behind the words, images, or videos you see. Are they trying to sell you a product, change your perspective, or simply seek attention? When you start analyzing information this way, you'll realize that not all information is reliable, and not all emotions you experience are genuinely your own. Follow up with another question. Is this truly important? This exercise helps you filter out what's worth your time and mental energy. Think about how much trivial information you consume daily, only to forget it moments later. Critical thinking isn't about doubting everything, but about learning to select and focus on what genuinely adds value to your life. Learning to focus, meditate, and practice mindfulness is crucial. Mental distraction is the greatest enemy of mindfulness in a world where every notification and social media interaction is designed to pull you out of the present moment. By cultivating mindfulness, you can begin to reclaim your focus and live a more intentional and meaningful life. You need to find ways to bring your mind back to its center. One of the most effective methods is practicing meditation or mindfulness. Start with simple steps, such as spending 5 to 10 minutes each day sitting still and focusing on your breath. When thoughts begin to flood your mind, don't resist them. Simply acknowledge their presence and gently guide your attention back to your breath. This practice is not just a way to relax, but also a tool to train your ability to control your mind, reducing attachment to external distractions. Another approach is to temporarily disconnect from technology. Try setting aside a specific time each day, perhaps in the morning or evening, when you completely turn off your electronic devices. Use this time to write in a journal, read a book, or simply sit quietly and observe your thoughts. You may be surprised to discover that without the influence of technology, you can hear yourself more clearly. This reconnection with your inner self is an essential step on the journey to rediscovering who you are. Observing your inner world is indispensable. Don't let fleeting emotional reactions dictate your actions. Whenever you feel anger, anxiety, or agitation, pause and ask yourself, am I truly understanding what is happening, or am I just reacting emotionally? For example, when you come across shocking news or a negative comment, resist the urge to react immediately. Take a step back and reflect. Does this truly affect me? Will my reaction contribute to anything meaningful? By asking yourself these questions, you not only gain control over your emotions, but also gradually develop a deeper understanding of what truly matters in life. Observing yourself also requires recognizing the habits deeply ingrained in your mind. Do you frequently check your phone whenever you feel bored? Do you constantly seek validation from others through likes and comments? These behaviors, if left unchecked, can become shackles, keeping you trapped in a cycle of distraction and lack of freedom. The journey back to yourself, mindfulness, is not a destination but an ongoing process. Each time you ask yourself a question, each time you disconnect to listen to your inner self, you take a step closer to true freedom. Remember, you don't need to change everything in a single day. Start with small changes, like spending a few minutes each day reflecting or simply pausing to ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my true self? It is through these small, consistent changes that you will find the path back to yourself, a place where mindfulness, peace, and true meaning reside. Have you ever asked yourself, amid the overwhelming flow of information and the pressures of constant decision-making, whether you truly understand what you are doing, or are you merely reacting to what the world outside expects of you? At its deepest level, mindfulness is not an abstract or distant metaphysical state. It is a very real ability, the ability to see clearly and redefine the experiences unfolding within your own mind. Start with an exercise. Observe the information you consume in a single day. Instead of letting your mind passively absorb everything, become a conscious observer. Each time you scroll through an article, watch a video, or join a conversation, ask yourself, what is this information telling me? How important is this to my life? For instance, when you come across a controversial post on social media, rather than being swept away by emotions like anger or agreement, analyze the intent behind the post. It could be a strategy to gain views or a way to manipulate collective emotions. Through this exercise, you'll realize that much of what seems important is actually just noise, and only a small portion truly deserves your attention. Mindfulness isn't just about analyzing the external world. It's also about listening to your inner self. Each day, set aside 10 minutes to do nothing but sit quietly and focus on yourself. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? What is occupying my mind? Don't force yourself to achieve a perfect state of calm. Instead, let your thoughts and emotions arise naturally. For example, you may discover that your anxiety about work isn't caused by the workload itself, but by a deep-seated fear of failure. By identifying your emotions, you can gain control over them rather than letting them control you. Whenever you encounter information or face a decision, ask yourself, who truly benefits from this? What is its actual value to me? This is more than a simple analytical exercise. It's a way to redefine your relationship with the world. For example, when an online ad promises that a product will bring you happiness, ask yourself, does this product truly meet my needs, or is it just sparking a fleeting desire I didn't even realize I had? These questions help you recognize that most messages are designed to manipulate your emotions and behavior. Only when you understand what genuinely adds value can you make truly wise decisions. Mindfulness is not just a lofty philosophical concept. It is a skill that can be cultivated daily. The exercises mentioned above not only help you understand your mind, but also lay a solid foundation for navigating the chaos of the world. Every time you pause to observe, listen, or analyze, you are empowering yourself to live a life that is not swept along by external currents, but directed by your own intentions. Remember, mindfulness doesn't come from sudden changes, but from small, consistent actions that gradually bring you closer to inner peace. Have you ever thought of mindfulness as a state or a destination where, once reached, you will achieve deep inner stability? In reality, mindfulness is not a place you arrive at, but an ongoing journey of exploration and practice. It doesn't require you to abandon the modern world. Instead, it asks you to master it, so you are no longer caught in the endless flow of information or fleeting emotions. Mindfulness isn't about isolating yourself from everything that unsettles you. It's about standing in the heart of the storm while maintaining a calm mind. When you are mindful, you realize that every day is an opportunity to understand yourself and the true values of life. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, nor does it come from a single moment of enlightenment. It stems from daily actions, moments when you choose reflection over reaction, listening over judgment, and focusing on what matters instead of being drawn into the trivial. Pay attention to the information you consume and avoid letting it flood your mind unchecked by reason. Take time to listen to your inner self, not to demand immediate answers, but to learn how to live in harmony with yourself. When facing a decision or processing information, ask, what value does this truly bring to my life? Who benefits from the way I act or think in response to this? These questions will become tools to help you navigate the maze of the modern world. Mindfulness doesn't ask you to become someone else. It invites you to become the best version of yourself, a person who lives with awareness, values their time and mind, and refuses to let anyone or anything dictate their life. Finally, remember that this journey is not a race, but a slow and steady progression. Each time you choose thoughtful reflection and connection with yourself, you take one step closer to true freedom. freedom from within. What do you think about the content above? To keep your mind calm, mindful, and in control, what are your personal tips? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Thank you for watching. If you learned something from this video, please like, subscribe to the Top Hidden Knowledge channel for more content on wisdom, spirituality, and personal growth. Or if you have time, check out other videos on this channel. Until next time.